Tonight, we have breaking news as we come on this Friday night. The tornado watch right now in the east, Washington, D.C., right up through Philadelphia. The storm's then moving into New York City. Tonight, 45 million Americans on alert right now. The system deadly already. Now the dangerous storms from Florida to the Carolinas right into the Northeast this evening. A confirmed EF2 tornado, 115 miles an hour, killing one person, destroying homes.
Is that a tornado?
Yep.
And near Atlanta, a tornado crossing I-75, damaging winds, large hail, and possible twisters right up the I-95 corridor. Lee Goldberg is standing by to time this out. Tonight, ABC News learning of a very close call for two passenger jets, a United plane and a SkyWest plane taking off on parallel runways. One passenger plane suddenly turning into the path of the other. They were just seconds apart. The scene in the Oval Office today, President Trump's farewell to Elon Musk. What Elon Musk acknowledged today, also Musk explaining his black eye. Also tonight, the Supreme Court handing the president a major victory on immigration. And what President Trump said today when asked if he would consider a pardon for Sean Diddy Combs. It made news. Meantime, at the Combs trial today in New York, the searing new testimony, the defense and their cross-examination of the assistant who says Sean Combs repeatedly sexually attacked her. Tonight, former reality show dad Todd Chrisley speaking out after President Trump issued pardons to him and his wife Julie after their convictions for tax evasion and fraud. And what he said is now coming. Tonight, the major news here involving Taylor Swift, the superstar emotional after she revealed what she now controls. Tonight, the alarming scene beside a construction site, a major sinkhole swallowing multiple cars and threatening nearby buildings at this hour. Tonight here, remembering actress Loretta Swit. From MASH, she won multiple Emmys for the role. And the scene watched by 103 million Americans. The tributes pouring in tonight. And America Strong this evening, could you spell this?
Éclaircissement.
Éclaircissement.
He was the runner-up last year. He came back to win it all this year. You have to see the moment.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we finally made it to Friday, but it could be an unsettling night ahead. 45 million Americans on alert right now. In fact, here in the east, a tornado watch at this hour from Washington, D.C., right up through Philadelphia. The system then moving into New York City, then up into New England. At this hour, the severe weather threat for millions, the dangerous storms from the Carolinas there right up into the Northeast. And this right here is the tornado watch, D.C. up through New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The system then moves into New York. These storms have already been deadly. A confirmed EF2 tornado slamming Kentucky with 115-mile-an-hour winds, killing one person and destroying homes there. Whipping rain and damaging winds in St. Cloud, Florida. In Georgia, a couple driving on I-75 when a tornado crosses the interstate right in front of them. And tonight, the father, an actor from a well-known show who says he and his son were sucked from their home by a tornado outside Atlanta. That son in critical condition tonight. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast, and Stephanie Ramos with the images already coming in tonight.
Tonight, nearly 45 million on alert for powerful storms targeting the East Coast after a deadly 24 hours left a trail of destruction in the Heartland. Southeast of Louisville, a confirmed EF2 tornado with 115-mile-an-hour winds tearing up this neighborhood. This SUV flipped on top of a flattened home.
A small area was hit, but it was devastating.
Authorities in Washington County, Kentucky say at least one person was killed here and 14 more hurt, including a 3-year-old child. Outside Jacksonville, Florida, Thursday, multiple cameras catching a tornado crossing St. John's Highway.
Is that a tornado?
Yep.
While south of Atlanta,
Don't move.
Rachel Peters recording in the passenger seat as they nearly drive right into a tornado crossing Interstate 75. Homes in this Henry County neighborhood leveled. Families that rode it out say they could feel the walls shake.
I ran for the closet and took cover. I got on my hands and knees, covered my head, and just started praying.
I survived the tornado. My son, he survived.
Trey Cheney says he and his 18-year-old son Malachi were sucked out of their home.
A split second, my house is gone. I just got out the hospital. I got this bruise on my head.
Cheney, an actor who once starred on HBO's The Wire, says Malachi has broken ribs and a broken bone in his face.
And David, there's a flood watch for much of the Northeast as those storms continue to move in tonight. David.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough night ahead, Steph. Thank you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg of our New York station, WABC. And Lee, I know you're tracking these tornado watches up right now.
David, heavy downpours are lifting toward D.C. as we speak. There's a tornado warning just to the west across northern Virginia. The tornado watch goes from North Carolina all the way into southern New Jersey until midnight. Let's time this. We could have torrential rains from Philly to New York around the 10 o'clock hour. Please don't drive through standing water. Could come down at 1 to 2 inches an hour. It'll move toward Boston the pre-dawn hours and then into parts of northern New England. It'll just be showery after that. It will not be a washout, and it dries out on Sunday. Now to the Canadian wildfire smoke in the Midwest. From Green Bay to Chicago tonight, poor air quality. And by the time we get into Saturday, it's the Dakotas into Minnesota and into Iowa. Be very careful in the Northeast tonight. David?
Lee Goldberger, thanks to you as always. We turn next tonight, ABC News learning of a very close call for two passenger jets, a United plane and a SkyWest plane, taking off on parallel runways in San Francisco. One passenger plane suddenly turning into the path of the other. Authorities say they were just seconds apart from each other. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, frightening new details emerging from a recent close call at San Francisco International Airport. A pair of commercial jets, one from United, the other SkyWest, taking off at the same time on parallel runways earlier this month when the United plane suddenly turned into the path of the SkyWest plane. That SkyWest jet veering out of the way to avoid a potential disaster.
5273, we're moving to traffic.
Air traffic control demanding an urgent course correction.
Yeah, 1152, turn left heading 280 immediately. 1152, heading 280 immediately.
Tracking data from Flight Radar 24 shows the planes were less than 2,000 feet apart laterally and a mere 275 feet apart vertically.
Yeah, 1152, how'd you wind up over there?
In a statement, the FAA says that United plane turned without authorization. The agency is investigating the event.
Very, very close. And we know that the regional jet maneuvered away from the United jet. So they saw it, looked out the window and said, oh my gosh, we got to move. And they turned behind the United jet. If they hadn't done that, it would have been even closer.
And David, there were more than 150 people on board these two aircraft. Of course, this is the latest in a string of close calls that we have seen on U.S. runways this year. David?
Yeah, we know viewers at home are wondering what is going on here. Trevor Ault tonight. Trevor, thank you. Now to the scene in the Oval Office today, President Trump's farewell to Elon Musk. What Elon Musk acknowledged today, Musk also explaining his black eye. Also tonight here, the Supreme Court handing the president a major victory on immigration and what President Trump said when he was asked if he would consider a pardon for Sean Diddy Combs. Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, President Trump giving an Oval Office farewell for Elon Musk, the world's richest man now stepping away from his role as a special government employee, slashing federal agencies and firing thousands of government workers.
Elon gave an incredible service, nobody like him, and he had to go through the slings and the arrows, which is a shame because he's an incredible patriot.
Musk says he will continue to serve as an unofficial advisor to the president. Musk now acknowledging his job was an uphill battle, and in the end, not coming close to the $2 trillion in savings he originally promised.
So I think the DOGE team is doing an incredible job. They're going to continue doing an incredible job.
His departure comes after he broke with the president over his budget bill and the level of spending in it. Some estimate it could add $3.8 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years, with cuts to Medicaid and food assistance programs. This is what Musk said about the president's one big beautiful bill.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not doesn't decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
At a town hall in Iowa, Republican Senator Joni Ernst, the latest lawmaker to face outrage over the cuts. She was asked about Medicaid, some in the crowd saying people will die. Her response making news.
People are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes.
On immigration tonight, the Supreme Court giving the president a win. Today ruling the administration can end protections for more than 500,000 immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, at least for now.
And just today, we had, just a couple of hours ago, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court, thank goodness, that was very important.
In a scathing dissent joined by Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson warned the devastating consequences of allowing the government to precipitously upend the lives and livelihoods of nearly 500,000 non-citizens. And tonight, after a string of controversial pardons, President Trump was asked whether he would consider a pardon for Sean Diddy Combs, now on trial for sex trafficking and racketeering.
I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up from what I read. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
And David, the president here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania tonight, touting a new partnership between U.S. Steel and the Japanese company Nippon. And just moments ago, he announced that he is now doubling tariffs on steel, raising them from 25 to 50%. And David, we want to go back to the Oval Office because there was that moment in the room today when Elon Musk was asked about his black eye. He said that he was horsing around with his 5-year-old son and told him to go ahead and punch him in the face. And so his son did. David?
Rachel Scott live there from Pennsylvania. Rachel, thank you. And you heard the president was asked there about Sean Combs today. At the Combs trial in New York City today, the searing new testimony, the defense and their cross-examination of the assistant who claims Sean Combs repeatedly sexually assaulted her. Aaron Katersky at the courthouse.
After his one-time assistant testified Sean Combs sexually assaulted her, the defense today confronting the woman known by the pseudonym Mia with dozens of her emphatic Instagram posts calling Combs a legend, her mentor, and an inspiration. That's the person who has traumatized you, defense attorney Brian Steele asked. Why would you promote the person who has stolen your happiness? It was a very confusing cycle of ups and downs, Mia testified. I was young and manipulated and eager to survive. Combs denies sexually assaulting anyone, but Mia testified it happened more than once. Federal prosecutors say Combs subjected Mia to forced labor, including sex, as part of the criminal enterprise they accuse him of running, which he also denies. Mia called working for Combs chaotic, toxic, and terrifying. But the jury today saw a text she wrote after losing her job. I'm going to kill myself. My life is over. The defense asked, isn't this great? You're away from your abuser. In hindsight, fantastic, but at the time, the worst thing ever, Mia answered. This was the only world I knew for 24 hours a day for 8 years. Sean Combs was seated in court here, David, when President Trump spoke today about potentially pardoning him. We asked for reaction. His representative had no response. David?
All right, Aaron Katersky at the courthouse all week. Aaron, thank you. Tonight, the reality TV star who prosecutors called a career swindler, now speaking out after being freed by President Trump. Todd Chrisley thanking the Trump White House for his newfound freedom. On Tuesday, President Trump issuing Todd and Julie Chrisley a full pardon after they served 2.5 years in federal prison. Authorities say they stole millions in a banking scheme and failed to pay their taxes.
Even though this pardon has happened, I still was convicted of something that I did not do.
Todd Chrisley says he now plans to advocate for prison reform and says there could be a return to reality TV. Tonight here, we remember actress Loretta Swit from MASH. She won multiple Emmys for her role, and this evening we look back, including the scene watched by nearly 106 million Americans as the tributes now pour in.
She was the quick-witted Major Margret Houlihan in one of TV's biggest hits.
Those two, they're ruining this war for all of us.
Loretta Swit, commanding the screen on MASH for more than a decade.
For us. From now on, I'm number one. Me, Margret Houlihan. And believe me, soldier, I deserve better than you.
The tough by-the-book Major Houlihan was the head nurse of their mobile Army surgical hospital during the Korean War, evolving in her role to a leader fighting for respect in a man's world.
We actually survive without you. We live, we breathe, we dream, we do our work, we earn our pay. Sometimes we even have our little failures, and then we pull ourselves together.
Swit infusing humanity into Major Houlihan 2, showing a vulnerability, that famous scene Major Houlihan breaking down in front of the other nurses.
Did you ever want to ever offer me a lousy cup of coffee? We didn't think you'd accept. Well, you were wrong.
Swit would star in 240 of MASH's 251 episodes, earning 2 Emmy Awards along the way.
Sickening.
Along Alan Alda's Captain Hawkeye Pierce, one of only 2 actors there for both the pilot back in 1972.
So, listen.
Yeah.
And the series finale in 1983. Their 35-second kiss was seen by nearly 106 million viewers, still the most watched single episode of any television series in U.S. history. Loretta Swit was born on November 4th, 1937, in Passaic, New Jersey, performing on stage for the first time at the age of 7. She was best known for that role on MASH, but her career was both on screen and in the theater. Loretta Swit passing away at the age of 87, Tonight here, in her own words.
I would hope to be remembered as an artist who tried to use parts of her profession to further other arenas that were positive. It's very satisfying for me to have nurses tell me that they became nurses because of watching me. And that's a very, very great compliment and a very wonderful thing to have done while I was having so much fun within my profession.
The impact she had on so many. So many people tuned in every week, 106 million watching that final kiss, remembering Loretta Swit here tonight. When we come back on this Friday evening, the news for parents when it comes to COVID shots for their children. And is this different from what RFK Jr. said just this week? Also, the major reveal tonight from Taylor Swift. It brought her to tears. The accusations tonight against NBA star Zion Williamson. And then take a look at this, a scare right beside a construction site. This was incredible, a massive sinkhole swallowing multiple vehicles. And they are concerned tonight that this could grow. We'll have more in a moment here. Tonight, the CDC appears to be breaking with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s recent announcement over COVID vaccines for children. The agency today releasing its latest immunization schedule, and it does recommend the shot for healthy children. The guidance adding a, quote, shared decision-making model that suggests parents should decide if their child should get the shot alongside their doctor. The CDC policy counters Kennedy's announcement that the shots would be removed from the childhood immunization schedule for healthy children. A sinkhole opening up right next to a construction site in California, causing real concern tonight. These are the images showing the sinkhole swallowing cars and threatening nearby buildings in Ventura. City leaders saying the construction project appears to be at fault, citing a shoring failure as to why the ground caved in. Crews right now trying to figure out how to prevent any further damage. When we come back here tonight, NBA superstar Zion Williamson hit with major accusations tonight. His legal team is now firing back. And Taylor Swift crying tears of joy after her big reveal tonight. To the index of other news, on a Friday night, a bombshell lawsuit accusing of NBA star Zion Williamson of rape. A woman only identified as Jane Doe filing the suit in Los Angeles against the Pelicans forward. The woman now claiming between 2018 and 2023 that Williamson allegedly raped her and subjected her to sexual, physical, emotional, and financial abuse. Williamson's legal team firing back, denying all allegations and calling this an exploitation attempt. Well, tonight, Taylor Swift taking back control of all of her music now. The singer revealing in an emotional announcement that she bought back the rights to her first 6 albums, now owning her entire catalog. The deal marking the end of a years-long battle to get control over her own work. Swift telling her fans she burst into tears upon realizing her dream was coming true. What a long fight that was. When we come back here, how do you spell éclaircissement? I'm not even sure I said that correctly, but you've got to see the moment in a moment. Finally tonight here, our person of the week. He was runner-up last year, and he vowed to return to win it all.
The Scripps National Spelling Bee turning 100 years old, and tonight, a new champion. 13-year-old Faizan Zaki from Allen, Texas. He actually made it to the finals last year, finishing second after a rapid-fire tiebreaker. And he came back this year.
That is correct.
Determined to win. Faizan with a chance to win it all with this word.
Éclaircissement. Éclaircissement. E-C-L-A-I-R-C-I-S-S-E-M-E-N-T. Éclaircissement. That is correct.
Éclaircissement, meaning the cleaning up of something obscure. It's obscure, all right, and he got it. Faizan is only the 5th contestant ever to win the year after finishing in 2nd place, not seen in more than 20 years.
I'm pleased, really pleased to present you with the Scripps Cup.
And on GMA this morning, he did admit this.
I enjoy doing it. I am glad it's over now, though.
Glad it's over, but already preparing for what could come next.
I really enjoy math, so maybe I can try getting into the International Math Olympiad, but yeah.
Perhaps the Math Olympiad is next, but tonight, savoring his win.
And so we choose Faizan Zaki. He says the Math Olympiad is next. The rest of us might just get to the weekend and have a drink. I'm David Muir. I'll see you on Monday. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.